Hi! Welcome back to my channel. We'll be discussing Monstrous Heart by SYball. Now, before we get started, there will be spoilers, so if you don't want me spoiling this manhwa, go ahead and click off now. No worries, I'll catch you next time. For those of you left behind, let's go over some content warnings and get ready because this is another long one. There may be references to blood, gore, violence, inappropriate relationships between students and teachers, assault, murder, death, self-harm, gossiping, mental illness, PTSD, child abandonment, bullying, prejudice, cannibalism, age gaps, social gaps, pregnancy, child abuse, child neglect, self-hatred, generational and or kin punishment, memory loss and manipulation, extortion, mentions of abortion, fantasy drugs, power imbalance, dehumanization, kidnapping, forced and arranged marriage, human experimentation, drugging, mind control, disordered eating, chronic illness, confinement, torture, ableism, disability, excessive drinking, grooming, pseudo-incest, and cross-dressing, as these things do appear in the manhwa. Now, if that's all good with you, let's go ahead and get started. As always, let's start with synopsis. Jonathan Su is a human, yet he's been accepted into the prestigious monster academy, Augustine Academy. Why would a human be able to apply to such a place? And why would he even want to attend when many monsters' primary source of energy and sustenance is humans? Jonathan's mother is drowning in debt. While he could easily move on in life and leave her to deal with it, he would never do such a thing. Unwilling to let his mother go into further debt, putting him through college, he can attend Augustine Academy for free and allow the monsters there to learn about humans through his presence. There are numerous safety precautions in place in the form of laws that prevent the monsters in the academy from harming human students, but that doesn't mean the danger's gone. Still, Jonathan finds the risks worth it and attends all the same. Within just a few days, he's assaulted and attacked by various monsters. Eventually, he learns about the PAL system, where a human partners with a monster. This partnership opens both individuals up to more opportunities, including the ability to leave campus, and requires the monster to become an unofficial bodyguard for their human. Jonathan initially intends on becoming the pal to a bunny demon, but the bunny turns out to be a serial killer, having murdered numerous humans and demons alike, in revenge for them abandoning him or bullying him. Jonathan, after coming upon his latest kill, ends up being his next victim. Before the bunny can successfully kill and consume Jonathan, Lucian Yu, the infamous Black Fox demon, swoops in and kills the bunny. Unfortunately, Jonathan's wound is to his heart, and he's facing death. Despite his better judgment, Lucian hands over one of his 3 hearts to Jonathan, keeping him alive while also intrinsically tying these two together for the foreseeable future. It's hard enough being a human and a blacklisted species of monster, but beneath the pristine veneer of Augustine, numerous plots are stirring that could alter the monster world forever. Before we dive into the art, I need to talk about the different translations and localizations of this title. This actually has 2 titles, Monstrous Heart, the version I've read and what my review is based on, and Ogus's Law, the version on literally every other platform in existence, it seems. I chose the version I did because it's on one of the platforms I prefer, and that typically has a high quality localization. However, one unfortunate thing about the version I chose is that the names are changed from their original versions to Western variants, which I personally hate. This is an older title, so unfortunately this was a common practice at the time, but it's still unfortunate to see. Su Yuan becomes Jonathan Su, Fu Yu becomes Lucian Fu, Chiu Nan becomes Willow Chua, and Xia Siqing becomes Simon Xia, among many others, but that's our main cast. Minus Theodore, who appears to be Theodore across all versions that I've found. Those aren't terrible, but it's odd that the university's name also changed from Ogus Academy to Augustine Academy, something I never thought would be a thing when westernizing names, but here we are. Not my favorite thing in the world, but I've seen worse. Beyond the unfortunate name changes, the art is also a little boxy and flat initially, but over time it really comes into its own. Manhwa often has a very soft style, and this is no exception, but not until halfway through when it can be truly stunning. Until then, it's very sketchy and the faces are often far too wide and top heavy, but I promise it's so worth it to see the art at the end. Something else that I have to mention about the art is that we do actually get a very, very blurred penis in a single panel. I was shocked, to say the least. BL Manhwa is known to censor even kisses between men, but this is actually pretty much softcore with a single blurred peen. I couldn't believe it. Beyond all that steaminess, the chibis in this are also top tier. They're super round and squishy looking, which does the heart some good. The art isn't perfect in the beginning, but it's so worth seeing the stunning panels toward the end, especially to see some of the more erotic softcore to be found in Manhwa. Beyond the art, I have to praise the story. I'm reading so many ongoing manhwa at the moment with arcs that make no sense, and they're just there as an excuse to keep the series going. This also has multiple arcs, but each one lends itself to building out the world, strengthening the relationships, and developing our characters. None of it feels needless or like filler, which is so refreshing. That's not to say it's perfect. It sometimes comes off very cringe, especially when the two leads are hugging and kissing in the midst of a fight. Some arcs feel a bit shorter than they could have been or should have been, but overall every arc has a purpose and builds up to the ending, which is what is really important and is sorely missing in most BL manhwa. It tells a cohesive, romantic, and erotic story. What more can you ask for? However, as much as I like the story, I must mention how much I hate the side couples. Jonathan and Lucian are both students, and everyone is technically an adult since they're in college, which makes it all palatable. However, both side couples include a character who looks much more adult, with a student who looks much younger. Willow, in particular, gives off Shotacon vibes, which is a major ick for me. As if that isn't bad enough, both side couples start with one of the people being a child and essentially being raised by their eventual lovers. This is a major ick for me and is essentially pseudo-incest as far as I'm concerned. None of them are actually related, mind you, but they do have a guardian and or parental and child relationship, which is just so gross to me. Thankfully, they are just side couples and we really don't see much of them until the after stories at the very end, but it's still icky. I totally understand that this is fiction and I'm not here to police fiction, but I do want to share this information with anyone who might be opposed to this content like I am. With all that being said, this is actually a really good manhwa. If not for the pseudo-incest and Shotacon bait, I would call this a favorite. It has a cohesive story, it's far more erotic than any BL manhwa out there, and there are some stunning pieces of art toward the end. I highly recommend this, assuming you aren't opposed to any of the questionable content or the content warnings. This is probably a BL manhwa classic if there's going to be one. So, have you read Monstrous Heart? If so, what do you think? Do you agree with my assessment? Do you not? Let me know and comment below. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time. Bye!